The rogue stream, the ghost stream, as we like to call it. Gotta love it.
I apologize about that, guys. But we do have, let me double check here and make sure. We have Pulse Esports versus Federal Extreme Union.
Also known as CMU.
I guess that's an easier way to say it. So we do have
They,
some interesting bands actually coming out. They banned out the Hecarim. We don't get to see that again from Docta.
I'm really not surprised. If they had any premonition from that last game, Hecarim was definitely a must ban
Oh
from the
yeah.
side of CMU. And Malphite as well.
So that I mean, they must have been keeping an eye on the stream or something there, just to know. And we do seem like we still have the same bands coming out of Pulse here. Just don't want to deal with that Elise. Don't want to deal with that Vi. I don't blame them either.
I really don't blame them. Vi and Elise are two champions I absolutely dread seeing, either in solo queue or when I'm scrimming with the team or anything. I see those come out and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be a long game.
Mine's
But
still Xin Zhao. I hate seeing that one.
Xin Zhao's, I don't know. Xin Zhao could either be hot or cold with the way I play. But the final band coming out from Pulse Esports, Lux, very interesting band. Lux, of course, very strong in that mid lane, and then the final band coming out from CMU being Thresh, that ever so prominent support.
All I gotta say about Lux is Froggen, please. Lux didn't really get popular in the NA scene and EU scene until Froggen started using her, and now she's everywhere.
Well, Lux has always been strong, but it takes somebody like Froggen or like a Reginald or even any prominent mid laner to show off the true potential of a certain champion. So I do kind of see why Lux came back into popularity.
So first pick actually coming out for Pulse is that Taric. Taric was just super strong for them last game.
Well, the armor aura down in the bottom lane is just invaluable, especially in the lane phase. And then as you go on to the later stages of the game, of course, he gets that Aegis, that Bulwark, and all of the auras that he gives to the team is just incredible for team fights and for objectives.
And one that's usually really good to actually put with him is Jarvan the Fourth. But our red team actually hovering over Jarvan the Fourth and Jaina?
I really haven't seen Janna in top end play in quite some time, so it's going to be interesting to see as they do lock in Jarvan and Janna.
The last time I seen Jaina in competitive play was Zekiant, who's also known as Spam Happy, the guy that only played Poppy until he was Diamond. He plays solo top Jaina all the time, and I seen it in one of the IEMs. He played it. That's possibly the last time I've seen Jaina.
You know, the last time I've seen Janna myself was actually last year at MLG Anaheim when I was out there. TSM ran Janna Corky. That was quite some time ago.
Oh yeah,
As we
so
see Xin Zhao and Ezreal actually being locked in for Pulse Esports.
so they're gonna have a way to stick onto somebody. They're gonna have the shift away with Ezreal there. Kind of curious why they didn't maybe go with that MF because it kind of worked out for them last game. So Kyle Sorska and Stealth Breed, two more picks coming out, possibly top in mid lane. I would think it'd be top in 80 carry coming out here.
That's what I'm guessing. They don't want to try to give away their mid too early, especially with somebody like Pulse Esports on the other side. If they give away their mid too early, they could shut it down. What I'm seeing from the side of Pulse right now is they're going towards the later game. With the Xin Zhao, Xin Zhao does have excellent early game presence, but at the same time, if it's allowed to get to late game, Xin Zhao will just be that absolute wall for his team. And then, of course, Taylor Swift picking up that Ezreal, he's going to farm and farm and farm, and he will just be a very dominant force as we actually see Ari and Nidalee. Very interesting picks there for the set of Pulse.
Yeah, I was really expecting. I mean, picking Karthus like that early is a big risk. The main risk is Kassadin is left open. Kassadin completely trashes on Karthus. Ari, not as much as Kassadin, but still does amazing against Karthus. So I'm really surprised at that early pick of Karthus there.
Well, if they lock these two and if they lock in Ari and Nidalee, they're going for a very high mobility comp. Very high mobility and very high poke. With Nidalee and with Ezreal, the poke's just going to be ridiculous. Not only that, but they can all with the exception of Tarek, they all can move around the map extremely well.
What? Garen?
Garen,
Are we,
that's gonna be an interesting top lane. We'll have to see how that works out.
am I
I,
watching La 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 Demacia? I don't know if you
all
know
I
what that
do is
is.
spin, 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 and ward your brush.
That'll be very interesting. I think that's kind of a troll pick.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see. He's got 30 seconds, but I could see where Garen could fit in against this with the ability to silence Ari and Nidalee, but his problem would be trying to actually get in there against an Ezreal or an Nidalee without losing at least half their health as he hovers over Gangplank now.
Gangplank, another one we really haven't seen in a while. The last time, I want to say it was Nian Tanso who liked to run him in the mid lane, and this was before season 3. You would get the Tiamat, and every time you would last hit a minion with Q, it would give you gold for killing every minion around it. So maybe we're going to see the Ravenous Hydra coming out of him.
It's quite possible. I'm not 100% sure, but the way that CMU's team comp is kind of building out, it looks like it's a strong disengage team versus the harder engage of Pulse. So it's going to be real. I'm intrigued to see how they play this out.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. I have not seen Gangplank in a while. Gangplank has a phenomenal ult. I mean, it's an AoE slow. It does an okay amount of damage. If he's in the jungle, he's able to gank. If he's in the top lane, he's able to just do a decent amount of damage and catch up to him. But you're going against Nidalee. Nidalee, even if he goes AD, is just going to sit there, heal herself, and constantly auto attack. Where Gangplank's going to Q, try and chase after you. Once you get to 6, it's going to be really hard to get to that Nidalee. So really, really interesting to see. But we are into the 3 minute spectator delay. Asylum, tell me, what do you see in this game so far?
Well, from the side of CMU, I see two global ultimates on Karthus and Gangplank. So they're going to look to make presence in all the lanes by just having level 6 and getting those ultimates. So what I'm thinking CMU might try to do is have more of a focus on the bottom lane with Jarvan being down there and trying to cause all kinds of havoc, all the while Karthus and Gangplank throwing their ults off. So just by looking at that team comp right there, it looks like they're going to try to win the bottom lane early. Now, from the side of Pulse Esports, I see a very heavy poke and very heavy mobility comp. So what I'm planning, or what I'm thinking we're going to see, is a Pulse Esports team that's going to be moving around the map a lot, even in the laning phase, and going around and making sure all of those lanes go ahead and win their lanes, so the global comp doesn't end up being as effective.
And I'm really kind of excited to see this Karthus. Karthus is, I mean, he had his dominance. Everybody played Karthus. You know, Reginald was a big Karthus player. We even had Ocelot, who normally doesn't really play a lot of squishy champions, we'll say, or a lot of champions. He can't immediately at level, 4 or 5 dive in and try and kill somebody. He was playing Karthus. He's kind of went away now, but he's still pretty good. So I'm kind of interested to see just what they do and how they use this. They have a great team that just kind of lock him into that Karthus ult.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that point. I actually did get a chance a few months back to actually talk with Carlos about his mid play, and he actually really doesn't like Karthus all that much. The only reason why he would play him is so it fits the comp, because he generally likes playing those champions that, have the tank. They can go ahead and get right into the middle of the fight and survive. In Karthus, he goes in and dies. That's basically his job.
Pretty much. So we're about 50 seconds left. We do see both teams got everything locked in here. It's going to be a fun game, guys. We got about 30 seconds until we get into the loading screen, skin war, skin intimidation. So we are going to throw up a quick 30-second advert break, and we will be right back. All right, ad is up. Boom.
I'm really interested to see how Gangplank versus Nidalee works out. I've seen it. I've seen it a few times, and most of the time, depending on how the Nidalee's playing, Gangplank will win. But that again, that's just the lane phase. If Pulse plays their comp correctly, they should have no problem dealing with it though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But we will have to find out. There's only one ignite on the side of CMU versus three. on Pulse eSports. They're obviously not worried about getting locked down all that much with the team comp that they're going up against.
And my overlay is already updated. So I think I
Woo!
got it figured out as long as I name it the same thing. And we should be back. Yeah, we've been back for about 14 seconds here. So we are getting into the skin war. Hopefully, don't get any lag coming in. And of course, I get the corner bug, but that's pretty much every single time I play. They need to fix that.
And the skin war is actually tied four
Eh,
to four.
but they have Warring Kingdoms Zhao or Zhao, where Jarvan doesn't have a skin.
Uh-oh. We're in for a fight. I like the Special Forces Gangplank. That's by far my favorite skin. Actually, on Gangplank I like Spooky better, but Special Forces is a close second.
I like the Halloween one. Or
Eh,
no, no, no,
I
no,
like
Christmas.
oh
Getting
the,
them
the toy soldier.
confused. Yeah.
Yes, I actually really like the Victorious Janus skin.
Oh
I
yeah.
really like that skin,
I actually
but
did not
we
get
don't see
that,
it.
but I don't play ranked at all, so
I got mine at the end of season 2, but I'm just like, Jenna kind of sucks now. But then again, we're not at the top level of play, so Jen, you never know. CMU could actually come out with something really strong with their Janna play, because Janna, for some reason, I don't see fitting into this comp all too well, except for a little bit of disengage. But you never know. They could throw something. They might have a hidden card up their sleeve. They could pull a Twisted Fate on us.
so we are into the game. Let me update or move around everything on here or on the scoreboard so it's easier for us to see. I really like that they did that because now I can kind of do top lane in the top, jungle, mid lane in the mid, and then bottom lane in the bottom.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that they did for Spectator that just makes it so much easier because now you can see everything going on top. As we actually see Pulse Esports pinging for an
Welcome to
invade,
Summoner's Rift.
a little bit of a change up from what they did last game as they went and just did the complete EU line of scrimmage. Now they're looking to invade the red.
Well, they do have a Nidalee now, so they're able to trap over the wall and kind of get an idea. I don't know if Jaina actually seen that trap though.
And they actually got that ward down, but CMU's going to catch it out, and they're going to look to react to it, possibly, as they're actually pinging over to go the other
30
way.
seconds until
As it
minions
is
spawn.
awarded, they're going to catch that as well.
And now, I mean, they're easily going to be able to take this red buff. Our red team here are just too far spread out. I mean, they're going to have to kind of close in if they want to try and stop this, but no, they're going to be able to take this red buff, and that's going to hurt Jarvan in his ganking. He's going to be able to level 2 gank, but he's not going to have that auto attack slow that really helps him out after he gets the knock up. And the trap, KWR actually going to pop that trap, and they're going to have to get out of there quickly.
Minions have spawned.
Another real interesting thing I want to point out, Gangplank went at least halfway down into the utility tree. You don't really see that too much on people in the top lane unless it's maybe a Rise who, of course, goes heavily into that utility tree. But it's going to be interesting to see how he works with those masteries to make it work.
And it should be really interesting, but like I was saying, if he goes for that Tiamat early, he's going to be able to farm up a lot of gold, and he can kind of go Warmogs, but go crit plank and be able to almost one-shot the AD carry.
Warmog's crit plank is something I haven't seen in a very long time, and I'd actually like to see how it works out at this level of play in the competitive scene.
Oh, and actually, Gameplay going to find out on the Lagman here. He's going to walk over the trap. Lagman does not have any abilities but his trap there, and he's taking a good amount of damage. That's a little surprising there. And I agree with you. I want to see a crit plank. The last time I had probably seen it was about a year ago on some of the streams. There was a high elo player that would build 4 GP10s and then go crit plank.
Ooh, that's dirty. But looking up again at the top lane, I do see why Gangplank is winning. Nidalee doesn't really get very strong and can't really start poking too much until she's level 7. Until she's got that Cougar form and until she's got at least a few points in her spear. Now, I don't see any AP on that Nidalee, so I'm thinking Nidalee's going to go more of a bruiser type role, which means she's going to be leveling up her heal first. Her plan is going to be just to stay in lane as much as possible and be just an absolute nuisance.
And that's her job. Once she gets around level 4, she's going to be able to constantly auto attack and push the wave. and it's going to be hard for Gangplank to stay with until, like I was saying, he gets that Tiamat area or anything like that. Jarvan coming up into the top lane is going to stay around, but I don't think he's going to be able to do much. But down in the bottom lane, Stun Shatter coming out. La 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 Land taking an okay amount of damage, but hey, he's Caitlyn. He just stands at the range and auto attack.
Yeah, one of the great advantages of having Caitlyn in that early game is you could just sit back and you can just farm. If you do get harassed, you have an easy disengage with your 90 caliber net. And then you also have Janna who can slow and also knock up. So they're looking to play very passively, whereas Pulse, as we can tell right now, are looking to zone and they're looking to be really aggressive here in the early game.
Gangplank really pushing Nidalee in, but Nidalee, as long as you know her damage and know how to do it off the turret, you can farm pretty well off of the turret. Gangplank at
And
8.
Doc actually going into the mid lane looking for a gank, but I can't pronounce his name, Jarvan, was there for the counter gank, and they're going to go ahead and disengage that.
Oh yeah, nothing's gonna happen there. Jarvan versus Zenzel. Wonder who would actually win that in a one-on-one level 1 fight.
You know, it really all depends on the runes and the masteries, but I would personally give a level 2 to level 4 in the favor of Jarvan due to the passive and due to the Demacian standard in that armor. But post level 4, like level 5 and above, I would give it to Zen for sheer dueling capabilities.
Yeah, pretty interesting there. So Lagman up in the top, doing semi-okay, 20 to 22. He's doesn't have any health pots left though, so he's still just trying to stay alive. KWR and Nerf doing alright, 26 to 29. No real big action, no first blood coming out, but we do see the gold advantage coming out at 6.4k for our red team here, and mainly that's going to be coming out of Gangplank there. Down in the bottom lane though, Zen Zhao trying to jump onto Jaina there, but Jaina with her movement speed and the knockup gonna be able to get away. I do want to check though. I want to look at how much Gangplank has on his Q already. It doesn't tell us in spectator delay. Oh yeah, it does. 4 gold.
Only 4?
Yep.
So he's only now it's at 8. So not a whole lot as far as Q farming coming out from Gangplank. They do have a little bit of a farm advantage there in the mid lane, which could be attributed to it. It's only about.
Oh, and they're going to jump on to Taylor Swift. She is going to flash into him though. Stealth Breed taking the ignite, is running out of mana. He's going to have to flash away. Same with Jarvan, and they're going to get out of there.
Well, if that was basically a stalemate, because 2 flashes were burned for 2. Yes, the mid in Stealth Breed, yeah, Stealth Breed, going ahead and having the back is going to give Taylor Swift that little bit of advantage, going to let her farm up a little more as she's trying to catch up and see as she's 1 behind right now, so they're virtually even, and that's going to bring Ahri back into the game right now. As actually in the bottom lane, a lot of harass going down onto Nerf, getting taken down below 200 HP. They're going to have to sit back and try to farm up here and hopefully get their stain back up.
Something I do want to point out, up in the top lane though, Gameplank's starting to have a lot of trouble with Lagman. Lagman hits 6. And now he's scary. I mean, his Q is just doing so much damage as AD. If he goes for that Iron Gauntlets, Iceborne Gauntlets, Frozen Fist, whatever you want to call him, I mean, that's where he's going to start doing a monster amount of damage.
Right, and you also see Lagman, he's leveling up his heal first, like we expected, so he's going to stay in that lane for as long as humanly possible. As long as he's got mana to heal himself up, he's going to stay up there and farm, and he'll eventually take a gold advantage here over Gangplank, even with the extra gold coming from his parlay.
And that heal is just so good. It gives you that attack speed, you can sustain human form and constantly push. We see actually a Zeal coming out of Gangplank as a first buy.
So with the Zeal, he may be looking for either a quick Trinity Force to go over kind of a tanky crit build, or he might be looking to get that static shiv for a little more push coming out from it, because Nidalee can push a lane ridiculously quick. Gangplank, not so much unless he has a little bit of AoE, and the static shiv will give him that.
Oh yeah, and it works off of his Q too. It's just perfect for him. We do see J4, or not J4, I'm sorry, Zen Zhao waiting in the bush. He was standing on a ward though. So, I mean, Karthus just going to stay back. Up in the top lane, Nidalee going back. Did pick up the lifesteal, Vamp Scepter there, and a cloth armor. Maybe, I'm already going to say we're going to see a Blade of the Ruined King Nidalee.
I have not seen Blade of the Ruined King built on Italy yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how Lagman goes ahead and goes about that build, as the engage is actually going on Lagman, falling behind a little bit in HP there.
Oh yeah, and down in the bottom lane though, a lot of poke going to come out. And I want to start talking a little bit about this bottom lane because you do have Ezra who has the long range Q, but at the same time, Caitlyn has the long range poke. She's able to stay back. It's really going to be, if they can get a hold of the Caitlyn, they're going to be able to burst her down. And there we've got Jarvan actually up in the top lane. The consume, or it's been so long since I've seen a gameplay, I forget what it's called. Remove Scurvy actually used trying to get close to him, but I mean, Jarvan just really has not found his niche yet. He's trying to find a place to gank. Every place he goes, they either spot him out or just not ready for it.
Right, and it's really an unfortunate thing. In order for a lane gank to happen, of course, they got to push right now as Lagman actually getting quite a bit of damage down there onto Gangplank with the little jump in the pounce, or the jump in the swipe, not the swipe. I can't remember what the Q is called for Nidalee, but the remove Scurvy did clear most of that damage, so it looks like it's just going to be a fight up there of who can sustain better.
And now we got, I'm just kind of following directed camera because there's not much action going on right now. And Jarvan and Xin Zhao are actually in the bottom lane. Xin Zhao is waiting in the wing. Here comes Jarvan though, as the Ezreal ult does go down. There is the Gangplank ult. Here comes the Karthus ult. Xin Zhao stuck underneath the turret. Stealth Free going to be able to pick up that kill and the first blood.
Really good coordination coming out from FEU right there with that Karthus ultimate. With Xin Zhao jumping in and taking Lala out of the fight there, the only way they were going to be able to win there is if...
Oh, Exhaust is down in the mid lane. Ignite is going to go down. Here goes Taylor Swift diving in, picking up the kill and the blue buff.
And there's the answer from Pulse eSports. An excellent play right there by Taylor Swift, using that Spirit Rush to kind of duck in and out of that turret and secure that kill.
And already those spear auto attacks are just doing so much to Gangplank up in that top lane. And I still think it's amazing just the things that people can figure out in this game. For so long, we've seen Hotshot GG bringing out the Nidalee, playing her AP in that top lane. I've seen him go in back in the day. Actually, one of my first ever competitive games I watched, he went into the mid lane against, I think it was the old Complexity, and just destroyed. And then all of a sudden, somehow they figure out that this AP champion that, you know, even Riot thought was AP is actually good as AD. It's just, it's insane to see some of just the thought process that these guys do.
And you know,
Stealth Free getting dove on. Daka getting the knock-up 3 Talon Strike, trying to get away. And now Ahri kind of cut out, is going to have to back out. But we do see Gangplank coming out from the top lane, is going to make the long way around and possibly going to miss this here. But no, they're setting up for him. Gangplank is in that bush. He's going to throw the Q out, but no, they're not going to go for it. I figured if they were able to hit a charm there, he would have died so quick.
You know, I'm thinking at this point, yep, Louderens just went ahead and got a little too far deep in there. They could have caught him, but Jarvan and Karthus were both there for the save, and that's going to make Gangplank head right back up into the top lane as they're looking to invade the jungle here a little bit.
And we do see Sheen coming out actually on Nidalee. She did have about 1.6k, 2 spins, so that's going to be really nice. Karthus and Jarvan actually moving down towards the bottom lane. They're being spotted out though. Either that or there's a Sixth Sense coming out of Pulse's bottom lane here.
You know, one thing I've always enjoyed about watching Pulse eSports is they're very situationally aware. They're on the map. Even when they don't have words, they know where the other players are going to be. They're not hacking or anything. They just have so much time in the game that, okay, we saw Karthus leave the lane. Where could he possibly be going? Okay, our mid's pushed. They're probably coming bottom, so we're going to back off. Just showing that is just absolutely outstanding as Lagman getting a lot of harass down, but the remove Scurvy is going to heal it all up, and now he's in trouble. The ultimate from Gangplank is going down as he's going to continue to chase. The flash is getting burned. Lagman trying to get away from this. He jumps. The flash from him is getting burned, and here comes the Requiem, and Stealth Breed's going to go ahead and pick that one up.
We did see too a dive onto Karthus behind the turret between Xin Zhao and Ahri, as he did go down there, but he does pick up a kill for his trouble. So 2-2 and 0, and he's starting to get into that point of, oh crap, you know, there's a Karthus on the field, and he kind of hurts.
Just a little bit. The problem that a lot of teams I see have with a Karthus is they don't really realize he's there until they die to him. And then they have to try to react, and by that time it's already too late.
Oh,
Karthus is already
Caitlyn
fed.
going big on the Nerf is going to miss the Q, throws out the ace in the hole. Nerf is going to get away there, and Caitlyn with that Jaina shield, that really hurts.
Yep, that was quite painful. If that Piltover Peacemaker would have landed, he would have been dead for sure.
So 2-2, 1-0 in turrets with Pulse picking up the first one in the top lane. Gangplank trying to push hard, but Nidalee is just going to be able to push right back into him, so that's not really going to happen. Karthus picking up his second blue buff here, so going to just try to keep farming. In the mid lane, it's 113 to 117, so they're both doing pretty decent, but those 2 kills on the Karthus are going to help him out a lot. Already picking up the needlessly large rod, so possibly Death Cap, maybe into Zanya's Hourglass. I would expect Death Cap. He's trying to just maximize that damage. Gangplank up in the top lane, picking up that static shiv, works off his Q. He does have a good amount of movement speed in general, so he's going to be constantly throwing out that static, and if he goes for actual crit plank, the shot coming out from the passive on static shiv can actually crit, so it's going to be pretty ridiculous.
Right. Now with this Gangplank build I'm seeing a lot of movement speed, so what I'm thinking he's going to try to do is, if he's not going to build super tanky, he's going to try to just burst down and stick to an AD carry or the AP mid before he goes down. And if he can kill one before he goes down, then his drop's done.
Stun landing off onto La there, Caitlyn in the bottom lane, and just not able to do much to him. Up in the top though, Lagman getting chased down by Gangplank. Gangplank gonna run over a trap here, trying to just cut off Lagman here. Gonna throw out another Q, and Gangplank is just doing so much damage. Over here though, on the map too, we do have Daketta and Taylor Swift teaming up here to try and dive in and steal something. They realize the blue buff isn't there, but they are going to chase down onto Stealth Breed there, and just look at the damage that Ari's doing. Exhaust is going to go down. Here comes Jarvan though, and Jarvan just says, oh hey, you guys are here, bye.
He says, come fetch the rest of your team. I'll wait.
And it looks like waiting he's going to do.
As he's actually going to try to defend mid lane here. And Ari's actually getting some decent damage down on him while the minions go ahead.
Oh, up in the top lane, Ignite going to go down on the Gangplank though. Gangplank getting really low. At the same time, Ignite is down on the Lagman. Lagman picking up the kill on the GP.
You know, I actually was not expecting that Ignite to take him down. I figured he might have had to remove Scurvy, but here comes the Requiem. The heal did not quite save Lagman as he dies to that Karthus ultimate.
But more turrets going to go down 2-0 in turrets. Pulse eSports ahead in that point, and that's what's really getting their gold advantage. 22.5 to 21.3. They have the 2 turrets. It's still a really, really close game here.
Right, you know, even having the 2 turrets and the dragon, the deficit's only about 1,000 right now in favor of Pulse eSports. So CMU is actually doing a really good job keeping their farm up and staying ahead of them, even if it's just slightly, to make sure that their lead is not so big to the point to where they can't come back from it.
And not much else going on now. We do see Jarvan picking up his Locket of the Iron Solari really quick, and that's going to really help out. I didn't think about that. I have not seen the item in a while, but Ari picking up the Deathfire's Grasp.
Right, and ever since they changed DFG to actually build out of a needlessly large rod, it gives so much more AP now that it's a much more viable first item for those heavy AP casters who just do an insane amount of burst early on.
And it's pretty decent. It has that Fiendish Codex. And there comes the stun. And here comes the Gangplank ult, though. Jarvan on the way down. The flash ult coming out from Kyle Sorka, but there's a wild Ari in the bush. And it's super effective. Picking up the kill on the Jaina. Gonna dive under the turret on the Jarvan. Ignite is down. And now he cataclysms. Jarvan's helping, but he goes down as Nerf picks up the kill. And now the red team is on the retreat.
And you know, that was a really, really intriguing fight. I actually did not expect Taylor to go in on that fight as they were going to dive, and everybody still was pretty low going into that fight. I mean, Xin only has a Kindle Gem as far as HP is concerned, and Tarek has a Ruby Sightstone, so I really wasn't expecting to dive there, but it worked out in Pulse's favor. They were able to trade that aggro back and forth really effectively, and that is what won them that fight.
DFG Ari is just insane amount of damage.
Yeah, with the early you saw how early he blew that off. Now with Deathfire Grasp, it takes their maximum health and, magic damage, but it's 15%. It is such a huge chunk. She blew that right away. Right when she knew, okay, we're gonna fight, let's go ahead and take these carries down. She jumped in, blew the DFG, blew her combo off, and by then...
Oh, Jarvan coming up in the top lane. Lagman needs to get away from there. He's trying to get close to the wall. Is going to flash over the wall. The flash from the gangplank. There is the Q. Trying to get close. Here comes the Karth Assault. Is he going to die to the Karth Assault again? No, the Locket of the Iron Solari going to help save him. Trying to turn it around back onto gangplank there. Taylor Swift just blowing him up. Locket of the Iron Solari, I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah, just a little bit. I really like what Pulse did there. Lagman got in trouble. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna get out of here. Hey, Taylor, hey, Doctor, come back me up on this when I get to you. So he backs up, he's running, he blows the flash.
Jarvan diving on the...
actually going in there. Onto La La Land, they're trying to make something happen, but nothing's doing. They're gonna go ahead and back this one off and try to take the blue.
Something a little interesting here. Nidalee has... Berserker Greaves with the fur enchant on him, but Pulse, we'll talk about that in a minute. Wow, the ult coming out from Ezreal just doing a monster amount of damage to Caitlyn. Caitlyn getting caught out there, and the kill going to go out to Ezreal. But yeah, we do see Berserker Greaves fur onto a Nidalee.
So, I'm actually really intrigued by this. We see that she's going to build towards Blade of the Ruined King with those 2 daggers, and she's already got the Berserker Greaves, so she's looking to do an insane amount of damage, going with mostly almost like an AD carry-like build. Right now.
Daka is going to get caught out. He's going to throw the ult down, and he's going to get away. 2 tornadoes, just too strong there.
And that just goes to show you the power of Xin Zhao with his ultimate. If he doesn't have that mark on anybody, he's just going to knock everybody away, and everyone's just going to sit there like, what do we do now?
So now just constant split pushing coming out of Pulse, and this is what they need to do. You have a Nidalee, she has an insane amount of attack speed between her heal and the Zerk Greaves right now. She's got the 2 daggers, so she's going to constantly split push. She can stay in that human form, constantly heal herself, and that wave is just going to get obliterated really quick. So this is, I mean, perfect what they need to do. Keep the pressure with Ahri and Xin Zhao in the mid, keep Nidalee up in the top lane, and keep Ezreal Taric in the bottom lane. And it's really one of those situations of how do you answer that? It's really hard. The Ezreal ult is going to come down, stun shatter, going to land on Caitlyn. She is going to 90 caliber net away. A great ult coming out from Jaina, pushing Ezreal into the wall, but now she's caught out. There's an exhaust down, Ignite going to go out. Nerf throwing out a lot of damage, going to be able to pick up that kill. La La Land getting caught out now. They were thinking about diving it, but here comes Jarvan. He's helping. He's going to try and get there, but up in the top lane, the kill for Lagman picking up on the gangplank. Ezreal is going to get shut down as he is going to go down to the Jarman here. And KWR trying to get away, but Jarvan going to go ahead and cut him off. EQ combo going to knock him off. Stealth Breed there to help him out. So much action going on everywhere.
You know, I was actually really intrigued right there. There was a fight going on in bottom lane and in top lane, but Taylor Swift didn't really react to either fight. He just went on and continued the push. So what I was thinking in that fight was, well, where's Taylor? What is he doing? He wasn't doing much, but he was actually performing his job. As Ahri in the mid lane, what they're doing right now is they're basically trying to continue the lane phase as long as possible because they're winning it. They're pushing all 3 lanes. They're keeping everybody basically in their lanes, and it's working out for them. So they're working, just trying to continue that pressure throughout all 3 lanes, and it's working out for them really well.
And the ult coming down from Gangplank, Taylor Swift diving in, Stealth Breed is going to go down, Ignite is going to go, the knockup coming out in the flash, and Jaina is going to get away from that.
And Caitlyn actually trying to get into the fight there, but not a whole lot as Gangplank actually coming in.
Oh, here comes the Jarman though. EQ combo going to come out. Docetta is in trouble. Caitlyn is there. The ult coming out. Jarvan is helping, but he's taking so much damage. He goes down, but finally Xin Zhao gonna die to the Caitlyn auto attack there. Stun is gonna go down. Is Pulse Nerf gonna try and get to this? He is gonna pop the Blade of the Ruined King. And look at that damage coming out from Lagman. Wow.
That Blade of the Ruined King is really showing to be a great item there on Lagman, as he's now going in down on towards Gangplank, and his team is following up.
Such great action coming out, but Pulse just showing, hey, we know how to play this game, and we're going to just keep trying to dominate this, and they are.
Hmm. I'm watching and I'm looking at. I'm trying to figure out what FEU can do to get themselves back into this game, but right now it's looking like Pulse is completely taken over. They've got the map control, they've got the objectives right now as they're taking Dragon, and they're probably going to be poised to take Baron here pretty shortly.
And the Dragon definitely going to go down. That's going to help Pulse out. 37.6 to 31. They are just in such a dominant force right here. I mean, there's not much else they can do wrong here. I mean, they're going to have to throw it pretty hard to lose this game.
And you know, we see Nidalee's been top lane for probably 90% of the game, now actually taking a slight lead over CS on Gangplank, but she also has 3 kills, so she's quite a bit ahead there. Jarvan taking a little bit of a lead in the jungle, but nothing too great. Where we really see on the side of Pulse is the 5-0 Ahri. She is just being an absolute force to be reckoned with right now, as FEU is going to go ahead and try to take down this mid turret.
And they'll easily be able to get that, and that's going to give them a little bit more gold. And this is their thing now. They need to get objectives. You know, don't see red as you would think of a bull seeing red to try and kill. You don't want to see red. You want to go for towers. You want to go for dragons and barons and try to get any type of gold advantage as you can, because they really cannot team fight right now.
Right, and as we're looking, Pulse doesn't really want a team fight. They can, but they don't want to. They just want to, well, they just want to win the game. But they are actually starting to group up now that an inhibitor is exposed. And that's going to favor very heavily on the side of Pulse, as FEU just doesn't have the team fight right now.
And those spears doing still a little bit of damage, even though she's AD. But look at that auto attack harass she did to Caitlyn just between the Blade of the Ruined King and all that attack speed.
Yeah, Nidalee has definitely come out ahead in this. She's got about 40 or 50 up as a as the team fight's actually looking like it's going to ensue here.
Oh, and just the auto attack harass going out on Jaina. Jaina gonna pop the ult. There is the Gangplank ult, but Jaina just kind of goes poof, and she's gone.
Yeah, you know, the ultimate from Jaina there I think was a little. First off, she stayed way too long. If she would have just blown the ult, knocked him back, and gotten out of there, she may have been able to survive that. But she was staying there trying to heal up through their damage, and it's just too much for her to handle right now.
And Pulse, I mean, they are just dominating every single lane, pushing, getting the objectives, and wow, La 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 Land, just taking so much between the TFG and just the Qs coming out from Ahri are just insane. At this point in the game, what do you think our red team needs to do to even come back into this?
Well, from what I see, what they need to do is they need to pull an EG or a CLG EU, and they need to sit back and they need to stall. They need to stall as long as they possibly can, let Gangplank get some health, let him finish those Iceborne Gauntlets and possibly get a Warmogs, so they actually have a little more of a front line. Because right now, Jarvan's not cutting it for them. I mean, he's got a Locket and a Ruby Crystal, as far as health is concerned.
And what's weird is, he's got Boots of the Iron Solari with an upgrade on him.
Is that Captain or is that Home Guard? Nope, he's got Home Guard. They're ready for the defense. But I really don't see the point in getting the cooldown reduction, as Jarvan already does have pretty low cooldowns, so the extra cooldown reduction isn't going to do a whole lot for him. I would have liked to see maybe Merc Treads with all the CC that they've got going on.
That or the Ninja Tabby to try and just be able to take the auto attack harass from Nidalee, from Xin Zhao, and from Ezreal, and even the auto attacks from Taylor Swift.
Right, and just the sheer damage right now that Nerf is able to put out, having the Blade of the Ruined King and the Bloodthirster already completed, it's absolutely insane. And with the lack of armor that we're seeing from the side of FEU, I mean, Jarvan's got a couple of cloth armors. That's about it from armor, and Gangplank has a Ninja Tabby.
And not much else going on right now. I mean, Pulse just, I keep saying it, but they're just dominating right now.
Yep, they're definitely being a very dominant force here in the early rounds here, in the round of 32 as we're in right now. In the Community Showdown, as Lagman actually getting caught out here. Jarvan trying to stick to him so he stays there. Janna's slow, and the Cataclysm coming up. A Doctor's going to go ahead and jump in. Taylor Swift going in and picking up Gangplank, and Nidalee's going to go ahead and pick that up. A double kill now for Lagman as he continues on. The Zonia's Hourglass getting popped on Karthus. Janna's ultimate's going to knock him right back to him, though, as Lagman's going to pick up the triple, and Ari going to pick up a second kill for herself in that fight.
And there is the 4-0, 5-0 surrender coming out. I was going to say Jaina kind of killed her Karthus.
Well, in my opinion, he was dead anyways. He popped the Zonia's Hourglass when he had about 50 HP left, so they were going to go ahead and turn and get him anyways. But Taylor Swift, PhD, coming in there and schooling and showing everybody how Ari is done. Great game by Pulse eSports.
All right, guys, we're going to throw up some commercial breaks, and we will be right back with our next game here really soon. So I'm going to throw that and throw up some music, and we'll see you guys.